शिरडी शरंगा पति शरंगा शरंगा पति शरंगा आनंद रंगा सदानंद
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering our collective prayers and salutations at the feet of Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, and students who've gathered here from various campuses, Sai Ram and good evening. Alongside education, healthcare, and social care, Sadguru has been making great efforts towards the revival and propagation of Sanatana Dharma. To this effect, emphasis is being made to study our ancient scriptures, which contain all knowledge and all wisdom. 3 years ago, when the world was grappling with tremendous changes with the external world, Sadguru guided us all to embark on the inner journey, to turn our gaze inwards through Master the Mind and the Paravidya Shibira on the Kathopanishad. Once again, it is His grace and compassion that we are all gathered here, and we've all been bestowed with the opportunity of being a part of yet another Shibira that is aptly titled Gita, Sara, Sarita, wherein we will undertake an in-depth study of the Bhagavad Gita. Although delivered several millennia ago, the Gita continues to remain relevant even today. It is verily an instruction manual, a roadmap, and a spiritual compass to help man navigate through life's journey. We will not only be learning important shlokas, but internalizing and assimilating the very core and essence of Lord Krishna's teachings. On behalf of all of us, we pray to Swami to light the ceremonial lamp to mark an auspicious beginning of the Shibira.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Girl students of the Vedic Studies program will chant the Shraddha Suktam as part of the invocation.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shraddhayagni Samidhyate Shraddhaya Vindate Havihi Shraddham Bhagasya Murdhani Vachasa Vedayamasi Priyagrashraddhe Dadataha प्रियग्रश्रद्धे दिदासतः प्रियं भोजेषु यज्वसु इदं मौदितं कृधि यथा देवा असुरेषु श्रद्धामुग्रेषु चक्रिरे एवं भोजेषु यज्वसु अस्माकमुदितं कृधि श्रद्धान्ते वायजमानाः वायुगोपा उपासते श्रद्धागुं हृदयया कूत्या श्रद्धया हूयते हविः श्रद्धां प्रातर्हवामहे श्रद्धा मध्यन्दिनं परि श्रद्धागुं सूर्यस्य निमृचि श्रद्धे श्रद्धापये हमाः श्रद्धा देवानधिवस्ते श्रद्धा विश्वमिदं जगत् श्रद्धां कामस्य मातरम् हविषा वर्धयामसि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु.
We invite Dr. Srikantamurthy, Vice Chancellor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to give the welcome address.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my most humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, and invoking the blessings of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, most revered Sir, Sri B. N. Narasimhamurthy, Chancellor of the University, respected elders, dignitaries, staff and students, my brothers and sisters, and those who are present in this august gathering, loving Saigram to all of you. At the outset, I take this opportunity to express our collective gratitude to Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai for having given us yet another opportunity to be in his immediate divine presence and spend our time in contemplating on the sacred verses of Bhagavad Gita and its meaning as a part of the Paravidya Shibira. Sadguru, out of his infinite compassion, has initiated this Shibira, and it is very timely that he blessed the study of Bhagavad Gita as a part of this year's Shibira, Paravidya Shibira. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्ध गोपालनंदना पार्थो वत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीता मृतमहातु. Vedas are the birth of the Lord. Upanishads are the defining points of the Vedas. In this sloka, all the Upanishads are compared to the cows. The milker is the son of cowherd, the Lord Krishna. And the Arjuna, the son of Pratha, is the milk, is the calf, sorry. The men of purified intellects are drinkers, and the milk is the supreme nectar of Gita. The knowledge attained through a devoted study of Gita gives us the essence of all Vedas and in turns Upanishad. We must be grateful to Sadguru for giving an opportunity to have this Shibira this time. The Department of Sanskrit and Vedic Studies is anchoring this event, and our beloved Sadguru will clarify doubts and any questions that we may have in the daily question and answer sessions. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this Shibira, Gita, Sara, Sarita. Thank you very much. Sai Ram.
In our institutions, the day begins and ends with prayers, all the while to remind and recenter our focus to the divine. As per Swami's guidance, henceforth, more prayers will be included and introduced in the daily chants across all campuses, helping students to understand the highest Advaitic truth through chants, verses, and songs. The Department of Music and the Paravidya teams have compiled these prayers into videos for the benefit of our students through a new YouTube channel called Praying Hearts. We will now have a short video on the same. Can we have the video, please?
Few changes will also happen from Guru Purnima. The prayer patterns, more of our scriptural prayers will get inside than the repetitive prayers that we make. So that every day you're reminded of these scriptures and you memorize it, and also kind of every time you chant or sing, you also absorb the meaning and meditate upon that. And subconsciously it will go in. Without your knowledge, it will become a part of you and it will change you from inside without your knowledge.
स्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयम्
सकृच्छ्रवणमात्रेण ब्रह्मज्ञानं यतो भवेत् ब्रह्मज्ञानावलीमाला सर्वेषां मोक्षसिद्धये
हे देवादिदेवा सकलविश्वद ओडिया करुणे दोरैपितने ईवरवनीडु सत्यवू नित्यवू आदन्थ जीवनवा ನಡೆಸುವಾಶಕುತಿಯನು ಎಮಗೆ ನೀಡು ಸಾಯಿ
May we now pray to Sadguru to launch the new YouTube channel, Praying Hearts. Call upon the entire team that has worked on this project for a group photograph. May we now invite Brother Prem Sai to present an overview of the Paravidya schedule. He completed his BA in Vedic Studies program and is serving as intern at the senior secondary section in Muddenahalli. Brother Prem Sai.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Sadguru, Sri Madhusudan Sai, respected elders, teachers, students, and all my dear brothers and sisters, a hearty Sai Ram. Sadguru, on behalf of all the students, staff, and devotees, I would like to express our collective gratitude to you for giving us this very special opportunity of being a part of this Paravidya Shibira. I was extremely fortunate to have attended the Paravidya Shibira that was held 3 years ago. The Shibira completely transformed me as an individual. It destroyed my previous ideas and misconceptions and instilled within me a burning desire to know the ultimate truth. The schedule also played a very crucial element in facilitating this process. Over the course of the next 20 days, a beautiful schedule has been prepared under the guidance of Sadguru to ensure that we reap the maximum benefit from this platform. I would like to take this opportunity to give a brief overview of the daily schedule for the next 20 days. The days will begin with all the participants getting up at 4:30 a.m. At 5 a.m., everybody will assemble for prayer, meditation, and yoga sessions at their designated venues. This will go on till 6:15 a.m. Between 6:15 a.m. and 7:45 a.m., participants can go for a morning walk, engage in self-study, and freshen up. Breakfast will be served at 7:45 a.m. We request everybody to assemble in Premamrutham by 8:45 a.m. for the morning sessions. In the morning sessions, we will learn how to chant important verses of each chapter of the Gita along with their meanings. We will also listen to Sadguru's explanation on each chapter of the Gita. These sessions will be facilitated by the interns of the Vedic Studies program. The morning sessions will conclude by 12 noon, after which lunch will be served. Participants can rest till 2 p.m. For the purpose of deeper discussion of the concepts presented in the morning, study circles have been organized in the afternoon from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. After a snack break, everyone is requested to assemble at Premamrutham at 5:15 p.m. for the much anticipated question and answer session with Sadguru. Like many other scriptures, the Gita is a module of effective teaching through the question and answer method. And this reiterates the importance of asking questions and asking the right kind of questions. While many great souls and individuals have given their own interpretations and commentaries on the Gita, none can match the authenticity of the wisdom granted from the very source itself. We are so blessed that the same consciousness that delivered the Gita through Lord Krishna is here and available to us as Sadguru to answer our queries and clarify our doubts on various aspects of the Gita over the next 20 days. After the evening sessions, dinner will be served at 7:30 p.m. Following dinner, we request everyone to sit for swavichara or contemplation from 8:30 p.m. You can either write in a diary or contemplate upon the various teachings that you have learned throughout the day. Finally, we request everybody to go to bed by 9:15 p.m. What a blessing it is that all aspects of our daily schedule have been organized in a manner that allow us, each one of us, to completely focus our energy without worrying about anything else. And what better than this divine and serene environment, surrounded by the good company of spiritual seekers? Let us all make the best use of this opportunity to listen, to contemplate, and to assimilate all that has been taught. Or as Sadguru shared yesterday, Shrotavyam, Mantavyam, and Nidhyasitavyam. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Now request our revered Chancellor, Shri B. N. Narasimhamurthy Sir, to address all of us.
Dearest Sadguru, brothers and sisters, and very dear students, boys and girls. At the beginning of this academic year, on 4th of June, Sadguru delivered a landmark discourse on education in our group of institutions, including the university. Many of you might have heard that discourse, but it is time that we study it in depth and understand what are its implications. One, for students, and second, for teachers, and third, for everyone else. I would call this discourse as the Magna Carta of education in our institutions, including the university. He elaborated upon 4 radical steps that were taken by him in the last 4 years towards the culmination of making Paravidya an integral part of our education and giving it more importance than Aparavidya. He told us very directly what are his expectations of his students in the secondary level, senior secondary level, and also at the university level. It's worth going over those statements, and each and every one of us, especially the students and teachers, should remember it every day in the morning so that we practice and implement what will ultimately lead to our enlightenment and emancipation. More importantly, we will be able to please Sadguru, who is doing everything, and he is doing things which nobody has done for the students community or for the teacher community. The first step, all these 4 steps are very bold steps, and not many institutions or many educational leaders can take these steps. The very first one was to make education completely free of cost in all our institutions. Before the advent of Sadguru at Muddenahalli in 2011-12, we had only 3 institutions under our purview: the Alike institution, the Muddenahalli institution, and Chikballapur, Prashanti Balmandir School. We were charging some fees for education in all the three schools, apart from the hostel, wherein every parent had to pay for the expenses of his ward in the hostel. First thing that Sadguru said, we are calling our institutions in the name, holy name of our Lord, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We are calling them Sathya Sai institutions. In Sathya Sai institutions, education should not be sold. Education should not be charged. Therefore, we remove all the fees. And especially in Balamandara school in Chikbalapur, which was under Prashanti Balamandara Trust. Some of the trustees left because they did not like this decision. How are you going to run the institutions without having any income from the students or the parents? Anyhow, that was really a kind of good riddance, I would say. That was the first step. And the second step, which as far as my knowledge goes, in the history of our country, because I have studied quite a lot about this history of education in India, nobody did something like this. That is, to withdraw from the state government board of education, and some of our institutions were under the Central Board of Secondary Education. Meanwhile, the expansion was happening. And what started with these three institutions, Alike and Muddenahalli institutions, were there for 50 years, nearly 50 years. And Prashanti Balmandir Trust institution was there for 30 years before Sadguru made his advent in this place. And this step was to withdraw from these boards and align ourselves with National Institute of Open Schooling, which gives us complete freedom, total liberty to have a routine of our choice in order to implement what we want to implement. Thereby, once the National Institute of Open Schooling came into the scenario, the routine was completely changed, totally changed. And Sadhguru has explained in the discourse the logic and rationale behind this change, wherein in no institution in India, I would say, definitely it is not there outside India, equal time is devoted in the routine, daily routine, for Aparavidya and Paravidya. There is no institution. See, we were running Muddenahalli and Alke institutions and even Prashanti Balbandra School for decades. We were paying tribute to Indian culture, cultivating character, man-making education, talking about our scriptures. All this was happening. But if you really look into the quantum of time that was devoted to Paravidya, it was not even 10% of the time that we gave to Aparavidya or academic education. This is what happens in most of the institutions in our country, which are run by religious and spiritual organizations. You name any of them, I don't want to name them here. You go and study their routine. Less than 10% of time is given to teach spiritual and moral education, which is the very foundation, and more than 90% of the time is given to only academic education or Aparavidya or material education. Equal time is given. And the whole timetable and routine was given by Sadguru himself. It was morning, what time you get up. And as far as the school hours are concerned, morning 8 to 12 are classes. And after lunch, 2 hours till 4 o'clock are for revision, homework, practicals, things like that. And then starts with a short break for physical culture, games and sports. Then all the time, till they go to bed at 9:30, is devoted to Paravidya. Paravidya means spiritual education. And this was a real turning point, because the effect of this, I really felt very, very happy when Sadguru visited Hampi campus. Here I am naming Hampi campus, where there is only 6th, 7th and 8th classes right now. 6th, 7th and 8th, and students who graduate from there go to various campuses. Some of them come to Muddenahalli campus also for 9th and 10th, then 11th and 12th. And in the brief introduction, actually Sadguru went there on way to Gulbarga campus. We landed there in a chopper. And the students were gathered, many parents were also there, teachers were there. Sadguru asked real fundamental questions on Paravidya to these students who are in 6th, 7th and 8th. The answers given by the students were complete, to the point. I tell you, many of the elders will not know about Paravidya as much as these boys of 6th, 7th and 8th classes know. The answers were so perfect. See, how could it happen? It happened only because of the of this routine. We give 3 to 4 solid hours for Paravidya. Like we give 4 to 5 hours for academics. We give so much time in a day. See, that is the very important step taken by Sadguru. The third step, as Sadguru explained on that day, is what I said just now, combining Paravidya and Aparavidya, giving equal importance. And the fourth step, which is taken, absolutely radical, unheard of, exceptional, unprecedented. On seeing, see, one thing is very, very important. Without involving parents in this kind of education, we cannot transform the students the way that the institutions want. The parents have to be involved. Therefore, the decision was taken that whichever parent, rich or poor in the institution, before that, 50% of the students were getting Madhusudan memorial, in memory of him, a scholarship which looked after the hostel fees, so that those 50% did not pay a pie. The parents did not pay a pie. They were all very poor children, very poor families. Now Sadguru took a decision, poor or rich, when the school starts, you have to bring your ward, boy or girl, with a dress on him or her, without bringing any other luggage, not even a suitcase, bed, one piece of cloth, one pair of uniform, nothing you are going to get. Everything is provided by the institution. This happened only this year. And the day the material required for every student, this nearly 3,000 students, was packed here in this hall. And one day, our teachers who are in charge of doing this, they arranged 14 trucks, and I was asked to come and flag off these trucks. I came into the hall. I tell you, from here till the end was stacked with all the suitcases, uniforms, shoes, sandals, sweaters, whatnot, whatever is required for the students. The 14 trucks took this material to different campuses. Such a thing has never happened anywhere, I am telling you. See, there are many residential, free of cost, residential institute schools, especially at school level. Government has many schools in India. I tell you, that is one great thing that both the state government and the central governments have done. Navodaya schools started by the center, Morarji Desai schools, and then Kittur Rani Channamma girls schools in Karnataka, Atal Bihari Vajpayee schools. There are many schools started. They are all residential schools, completely free of cost. But there, the parent has to get every material, anything and everything required for the student in the campus. Here, you just come here with one pair of clothes. And everything else is provided for you, a very absolutely comfortable life. And when you go back, you go back with the same pair of clothes which you came here. That's it. You're not taking anything home. Everything is left here. See, this is an absolutely, what should I say, a revolutionary step. And only condition, what is that parents have to do? What is that parents have to do to the institution for this gesture? Sadhguru said, all the parents should come and serve for 15 days in a year in our institutions. Out of that, 7 days in the hospital complex here. Another 7 days, you can choose any of the institutions closer to your native places. Any of the campuses in Karnataka or any of our hospitals in India, anywhere you can choose. So these steps were taken, and then Sadhguru enunciated what he expects from his students and what he expects from his parents. First, I will tell you what he expects from the parents. Please don't come in the way of your children becoming true servants of society, true missionaries in the cause of selfless service and spiritualization of society. Don't come in the way. That's the one and the only expectation from the parents. And then, for the students, this is very, very important. And Sadhguru explained, there are 4 kinds of people in society. All of you have heard it. Rogajivis, Bogajivis, Tyagajivis, and Yogajivis. Rogajivis are those who take from society, don't give anything to the society. Bogajivis give as much as they take from the society. Tyagajivis give more than what they take from the society. And Yogajivis don't take anything, they only give and give and give. Now, what is the expectation? Sadhguru very clearly said, boys and girls, you have to note this. By the time you come to secondary, senior secondary, now all the secondary, senior secondary boys and girls are here. You should, in the first 3 years, or say 5 years, you should become Tyagajivis. See, here, one very important point that Sadhguru has made. Tyagajivi means it is not that everybody has to lead a brahmachari life, brahmacharya life. It is not that. It is, we never come in that. And he's made it very, very clear. But by the time that you come to 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, you are a Tyagajivi. Means what? It should be very clear in your mind, absolutely clear in your mind. I am born for this purpose in this world. I am getting education for this purpose. What is the purpose? To give more than what I take from the society. To serve the society. Atmano mokshartam jagad hitaya cha should be there ingrained in your, not only in the head, most importantly in the heart. And you should speak that language. You should lead a life which befits that kind of language. So this is what is expected of 11th and 12th students, means after 5 years of school education. And once you come to the university, you are a Yogajivi. Means what? You are very, very clear in your mind that my life is dedicated to realize divinity, to realize God, to experience the ultimate possible state that any human can achieve. So that should be very clear in the mind. So this is the expectation, my dear boys and girls, and there is absolutely nothing to be scared of. I am telling you from the base, on the basis of my own experience, I tell you, it is a very enjoyable life. It is a life free of all burdens, full of happiness, joy, bliss, and more importantly, every moment you are aware that God is taking care of you. Swami is with me. Sadhguru is with me. It's a very wonderful life, very beautiful life. And in order to make you worthy of these expectations, this Paravidya Shibara has been designed. See, that is the purpose of this Paravidya Shibara. In no part of the country, forget about the world, no part of the country, full 1 month, from 9th class till the right up to PhD in the university, graduates, undergraduates, postgraduates, everybody has only one thing to do for these 20-25 days. What is that? Assimilating the teachings of Sadguru. Here I would like to compliment our publications, Vingsi Sathya Sai Premamrutham Prakashana, the 4 volumes of the discourses on Bhagavad Gita given by Sadguru. They have brought out in such a wonderful, elegant way. I tell you, it's a great blessing, not only for students, for everyone in the world. I have studied many commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita, beginning from Adi Shankaracharya, even before. I tell you, these are lucid and more importantly, relevant for the times. That's very important. Making it relevant for the times, relevant for everybody. Therefore, it's a wonderful thing. And this is what is Paravidya Shibara is all about. And the routine was explained by Prem Sai. And it is we are all very proud that our own Vedic studies graduates are going to play an important, pivotal role in this Paravidya Shibara. Our students who joined the Vedic studies course in our university, they have passed out, they have become graduates, they have been sent to various campuses, both boys and girls. They are in charge of this. If you take everything seriously, put into practice sincerely, by the time you go back to your campuses, you will be Tyagajivis and Yogajivis. That is the way that we satisfy Sadguru. With this introductory talk, I conclude and pray to Sadguru for his inaugural address of this Paravidya Shibara. Thank you very much. Sai Ram to you.
On this auspicious evening, where so many of us have gathered together under one roof to study and understand, assimilate and practice one of the most universal scriptures that India has gifted to the world, which is Bhagavad Gita. I congratulate each one of you for having earned the punyam of being here at this point in time and being a part of this Shibira. Sri Adi Shankara tells in Viveka Chudamani, Duralabham trayame vaitat daivanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshatvam mahapurusha samshraya. These 3 things are rare to come by. And if this happens to you, you have to pat yourself on your back and thank the gods who have made it happen for you. And what are these 3 things? Manushyatvam first. To be born as a human being. We can be any of those 84 lakh species as per our scriptures. But you are born as a human being who is capable of understanding this truth that everything and everyone is divine. Animals, birds, beasts, trees, or any other species, any other life forms are incapable of understanding that. Sentient and insentient. Only human beings have been gifted with this beautiful blessing of knowing the truth of everything which is divine. So Manushyatvam and Mumukshutvam. We have many desires as human beings. We want to earn wealth, we want to learn many things, we want to reach at a position of influence, authority, or power, we want to have relationships. There are many desires that are always there in the minds of men. But one desire that distinguishes a good human being from an ordinary is the desire to realize the truth. And desire is called as mumukshutva. Mumukshuhu, such a person is called mumukshuhu, the one who desires for moksha. And moksha is simply the destruction of all delusions and realization of the truth. So while we desire for many things, the desire for knowing the truth is given to only a blessed one, not to everyone. You may be born as human being, but you may not develop a desire to know the truth, which is the case in most of the people in the world today. And even when you develop a desire, you get the second blessing of developing a desire to realize the truth, that you are divine and everything is divine. You must find someone to teach you how to realize this truth. And only the one who has realized the truth is capable of teaching you this. It cannot be borrowed from the books. It cannot be just understood by listening to it. It cannot be attained by anybody or anything unless and until you are under the tutelage of a realized being. So the third blessing that Shankaracharya talks about is Mahapurusha Samshraya, not Purusha Samshraya. Mahapurusha Samshraya, a special being, a greater being, a realized being. Only such a person is capable of teaching us the way to realize the truth, to attain moksha after having been born as a human being. So if these three things happen to us, we are really blessed. We are really one in billions, I would say. But to make this happen, a little effort is required. And again, Adi Shankaracharya says that the best way is satsanga, to come together in the company of similar beings, similar human beings who have desire for liberation and who are under the tutelage of a guru. Gather together at the feet of such a guru with the only desire to know the truth, and that is the way to start the process. There are thousands of devotees who have asked me, can we attend this workshop from around the world? But I told them that we do not have the capacity to house everybody, and it's not possible to have everyone physically over here. Thanks to the technology, at least this message is being transmitted to people from various parts of the world. They are able to receive it. However, being present in the same room, breathing the same air, sharing the same space with that guru is definitely special. And that blessing has come upon us. And therefore, this group, which is under this roof at this point of time, must congratulate itself for whatever reason you are here. Whether you understand the magnanimity of this blessing, the magnitude of this blessing or not, yet this blessing has come upon you, and you should be really thankful to God for this special grace. We could also study all kinds of scriptures as a part of this process to realize the truth. Just now our Srikanta Murti was saying, Sarvopanishado Gau. All the Upanishads are compared to the cow. Upanishads are the highest philosophies present in our Vedas. And yes, you know Vedas are the oldest scriptures known to mankind. And Vedas are apaurusheyas. These were not authored by somebody in their study. This was received by rishis in their highest state of absorption in the divine communion. So these were gifted by the divine himself to the rishis. These are not humanly authored. But of all the things that were gifted to the rishis, which had mantras with which you perform rituals, which had many procedures to be undertaken as part of your duties in the world, but above everything else, the highest Vedantic philosophy is contained in the Upanishads. And as I say, Upanishad is consisting of 3 words: Upa, Ni, and Shad. Thanks to the previous Paravidya workshop. Upa, come close. That's already happened. You can't get closer than this. Ni, Nishchayatmaka Buddhi, with determination, with clarity, with conviction you have come here. You have not come here because your warden or a principal or chairperson told, you know what, there is a Paravidya workshop, and you bundle up and go and settle down there in the hall. You come with the conviction that I must know this truth. So I get closer to the Guru, in a way closer to the truth, with conviction and clarity that I want to know the truth. I want to realize the truth. That is Nishchayatmaka. And Shat again has 3 meanings as per Adi Shankaracharya, which is Gati, Himsa, and Avasadhana. Gati means movement, moving towards the truth. Or Himsa means destruction of delusions. That's another way of realizing the truth. When you get rid of ignorance, what remains is only knowledge. So destruction of all that which comes in the way of the truth. And our sadhana is loosening of the bonds. We are all tied up with too many desires other than desire for liberation. All other desires tie us down. Because it's for the sake of fulfilling the desire that we undertake any action in this world. Avidya, Kama, Karma. These 3 concepts are there in our scriptures. Avidya, ignorance. Kama, desire. Karma, action. So because of our misunderstanding or wrong understanding of what is important and what is not, we run behind many things in the world, thinking all that will give us joy and happiness. That is avidya, wrong knowledge. Because of which karma, wrong desires come up. That I want that because that will give me happiness. I want this because that will give me peace. We misunderstand, and then we have those desires. And to fulfill those desires, we undertake action. And every action has a reaction, and every reaction has another action, another desire, another set of ignorance, and that's how we get bound by the world. So this binding of the world, which is stifling our spiritual growth, has to be loosened. A cow in the Goshala, if it's tied or tethered, it cannot move. It is bound. Only when somebody comes, cow is incapable of doing it by itself. The coward has to come and loosen the knot and allow the cow to move. Likewise, a guru has to come and loosen this bondage, loosen the knots of these wrong desires and set us free. And that avasadhana, that loosening of these attachments to worldly things and interest, increasing of our interest in spiritual things should happen when you read Upanishad. This is what is the meaning of Upanishad. And Shankaracharya says, of all the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita is the best, is the essence. It is the ultimate wisdom of everything that Indian soil, Indian rishis have ever produced. It is so comprehensive in its approach to everything. It can answer any question of your life. So when people said, how are we going to conduct this workshop? I told, I am going to answer the questions, whichever they have, because I know all answers are there in Bhagavad Gita. I will not have to struggle. It has answer to the worldly questions, so also to the spiritual ones. To the physical questions, so also to the metaphysical ones. The questions of this world, so also of the beyond. It can answer anything. Every chapter is suffused with enough wisdom and more. So this is how Bhagavad Gita is so important. And if all Upanishads are compared to a cow, which is what he said, Sarvopanishado Gavo, and who is the cowherd? Who is the milkman? Sri Krishna himself. And what does he do? He milches this cow of Bhagavad Gita and produces or extracts the pure elixir of Gita, the knowledge of Gita, and gives it to whom? To Partha, to Arjuna, who is like the calf, who needs to drink this milk, nourish his spirituality, and thereby redeem himself. Upanishad should happen to Arjuna. And therefore Krishna is doing that for the calf, because poor calf is incapable of even sucking at the udder of this Bhagavad Gita mother. This helpless, a calf is just born, but Krishna is helping the calf to get the milk. But in the process, as we know in our Goshala, though mother cow produces the milk for the calf, we all get to drink it. The calf drinks only its share, but then rest of the milk goes to the hostels. So because of Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita has been taught by Sri Krishna. However, the benefit of it is being reaped by all of us. So we should bow down not to Sri Krishna but to Arjuna for all his ignorance, delusion and confusion, which led to Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna could have taught Bhagavad Gita to anybody, isn't it? He could have taught it to Dharmaraja Yudhishthira because he's supposed to be the best of the Pandavas. I hope you all know about Pandavas. You know the context of Bhagavad Gita. It's a part of Mahabharata. So Pandavas were the virtuous cousins. The crooked, the evil ones were the Kauravas. Amongst the Pandavas, Bhagavad Gita, the best of all the knowledge could have been given to Yudhishthira, who seemed to have practiced dharma all his life, or to the older brother Bhima by age, or to Nakula and Sahadeva by mercy to the youngest, by favoring them. But no, it came to Arjuna. Because Arjuna was a special disciple of Krishna. He was very dear to Krishna on one side. On the other side, he was a very eager spiritual aspirant. On the battlefield, as the chariot was drawn to the middle of the battlefield, Arjuna says, "Show me whom I am fighting against. Take my chariot, dear Krishna, and put it in a place so that I can see who all are against me, who are my people who are fighting with me and against me." And Sri Krishna goes and puts it right in front of his grandfather Bhishma Pitamaha. And immediately Arjuna is overcome by remorse, saying, "I do not want to kill my grandfather for the sake of land and kingdom and wealth and prosperity. I rather go and beg." This is how Arjuna feels bad for his own people. Nobody else felt bad like this at that point in time. All came, all geared up to kill everybody, whoever it might be. Grandfather, uncle, cousins, teachers, doesn't matter. We want to win the war. Arjuna didn't think like that. He thought differently. Why he did so, all that will be explained in the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Secondly, Arjuna, of all the people, was very close to Sri Krishna. And this shloka comes, Sakheva Sakyuhu. He was this friend of Sri Krishna, not just a disciple. Ite piteva putrasya sakheva sakyuhu priyah priyayaha arhasi deva sodhum, says. At some point in time, Bhagavad Gita, it will come, where the description of the relation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna is that of a father and a son, that of a friend, and that of a beloved. Nothing could be more intimate than that. And Arjuna had earned it somehow by his constant association with Krishna, his love for Krishna, his devotion to Krishna, his affection for Krishna. He had earned this special status to learn Bhagavad Gita directly from Krishna. Krishna was his father, so also it means mother. Krishna was his sakha, a friend, and also his most beloved. Of all wives that he had, or all friends and relations, Krishna was the dearest to him, and to Krishna, Arjuna was the dearest. This was his deservedness to learn Bhagavad Gita. His purva tapa, that he felt bad, everybody will suffer because of this war, does not matter, even I have to suffer, let me go back. Most of us have paschatapa. After doing all the wrong, then we think, why did we do that? Kim sadhu na karvam, kim papam akarvam iti. Why we have not done the right things, why we have done the wrong things, this Rishi of Taittiriya Upanishad says. This happens to us after doing everything. But Arjuna thought, no, we should not do this, it is not good, it's okay, we will go back. Of course, then Krishna reminds him of his duty, not for his sake, for his likes or dislikes, preferences, but for the sake of upholding dharma and doing the right thing. That is what you need to fight the war for. And then Bhagavad Gita ensues from there. Everybody of us, every one of us is fighting some kind of a battle at all time, choosing between this and that. Yesterday in the leadership summit, I was telling the most important quality of a leader is to be able to take the right decision. A decision that is right for all, not for a few. And that ability comes from a sense of spiritual detachment. Otherwise, you cannot take the right decision. You'll always take biased decisions, prejudiced decisions. You tell me, you also have to take decisions, right? Some of you want to choose arts, some of you want to choose science, and then you do not know which one is right, because some friends say science is good, you will get good money. Some say arts is good, that's where you will blossom better. Some say both are not required, let's go to Vedic studies, that's what is dearest to Swami. Some others say no, sports is coming up. Decisions, decisions, decisions. And each decision is caused by some background of understanding or the present knowledge that you have. Your parents, what they say, your friends, what they say, and what you feel inside, what you have read. So many things come in our way while making a decision. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us to make the right decisions. If we go back a little bit to Kathopanishad, which is very similar to Bhagavad Gita. Lot of shlokas you will find are very similar to Kathopanishad. Now you may say, Sri Krishna borrowed these shlokas from Kathopanishad, or the author, Vedavyasa, has he written these shlokas because he is the one who compiled all the Vedas and Upanishads, including Kathopanishad. So how many shlokas were actually spoken by Sri Krishna? How many are written because of the poetic license that the author or the poet has? What is the truth? Let us not get into this wasteful debate and discussion. Let us go for the essence. What is the color of the cow, skin of the cow, which breed? Later. We are here to drink the milk and enjoy the milk and feed ourselves and nourish ourselves. Many people tell like this, how is it possible Sri Krishna standing in the middle of the battlefield just when the war is about to begin, and 700 shlokas one after the other of so many different kinds happen. In between, one Vishwarupa Darshana also happens. How is it possible? Some of it is poetry for sure. Some of it is enhancement of this thought process of Sri Krishna to make it more appealing and explain it better by Vedavyasa. But some of the shlokas definitely have come out straight from the mouth, the lips of Sri Krishna himself. However, Vedavyasa is none other than Bhagavan Vishnu, is what has been told. He is another incarnation of Bhagavan Vishnu who came to write the story of the Mahabharata and of Bhagavad Gita and compile the Vedas and make it available to us. So it's the same thing in a way, but with a little difference. It is also said in the Dhyana Shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Sugita Kartavyai Kimanyai Shastra Vistaraihe Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Pradmadvini Sritaha. Where is the need for us to read another scripture anywhere? Because this Bhagavad Gita has been spoken by the lotus lips of the Lord who has the lotus in his navel, Padmanabha. And it is a flow, Sritaha. It's not in blocks or chunks. It is a flow of like a river's flow. Sarita, Sarita. That is why Gita, Sara, Sarita. This Shibira is called. It is the essence of Bhagavad Gita which flows spontaneously, naturally like the flow of a river, unobstructed, uninhibited flow of wisdom of Sri Krishna it is. Padmanabhasritaha. It has come from the one who holds lotus in his navel. That is Lord Vishnu, which is Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And that is why this Bhagavad Gita is so important, because all other scriptures, yes, they have been received by rishis in their own contemplation, meditation. But this is like direct, straight explanation of the greatest of the truths by the creator of this universe, by the Lord himself. What can be more authentic than Bhagavad Gita in that case? Therefore, my wish is that not just the students, staff, and the people associated, the devotees who have come from so many places and watching it live, should learn this. Gita should be the household scripture in whichever country you are, whatever be your religion, whatever be your nationality. Gita is a universal text. It is not a religious text. It is a spiritual text with the truths that are applicable and valid at all times. The truths of Bhagavad Gita were valid 10,000 or 5,000 years ago, and they are valid even 5,000 years later. So also they are valid today. That's why Bhagavad Gita is the most translated book in so many languages of the world. Because everybody felt that they should have Bhagavad Gita. It is the repository of highest wisdom. And from Americans to Germans to Europeans to Russians to Indians, Asians, everybody has translated this book in their own way and their own language and they're based on their own understanding, and this is available to so many people of the world. No other book in the world has this special status as Bhagavad Gita. And this is the book our leaders took to jails during the independence struggle, and this gave them the strength to go through what they had to go through. It gives tremendous courage. Lokmanya Tilak's Bhagavad Gita is there called Gita Rahasya, very contextual of those times of struggle. So also Mahatma Gandhi's version is there of Bhagavad Gita, which he wrote from his point of view. So also there are Emerson's version is there. So there are so many other people who have written Bhagavad Gita in their own way. So for devotees, it should not be a problem. Even if you cannot read English, you must be having some version of Bhagavad Gita in your own country somewhere, in your own language. So you can always use that as a reference, and whatever you learn from here, you can revise doing that. Nevertheless, the Bhagavad Gita books that were produced recently by the team, which is very well done, that will be translated in various languages, and leaving everything else aside, I request the Premamrutham Prakashana global team to take up Bhagavad Gita translation as the first project after this Shibira. Let that go to every home in every country. That's the one that's in English. My larger vision of Bhagavad Gita is, as I mentioned, it just slipped, and I let the cat out of the bag, and I said Bhagavad Gita's, my bigger project is Ghar Ghar Gita. Every house should have Gita and everybody should chant Gita. And if you here are, 1,500 or so people who are here, if each one of you takes it very seriously and learns Bhagavad Gita, you will be capable of teaching it to a few hundred more in your lifetimes. And each of them will further teach it to many more. And this is how this continuous flow of Bhagavad Gita will happen across the world. And all those parched hearts who have suffered many traumas, tragedies, difficulties, and are going through that, even if they cannot change the external circumstances, they will derive a lot of inner strength to go through what they're going through if they know this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita itself says, Sri Krishna says, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little knowledge of his dharma, which Bhagavad Gita teaches. Dharma means whatever is the right thing to do. That which we learn from Bhagavad Gita is capable of removing greatest of the fears of our lives. And many fears are there. Fear of a loss, fear of failures, fear of making a decision, fear of being seen or known and misunderstood in a wrong way. So many fears when you do anything. And biggest fear is fear of death. We die and then what happens then? All these fears are completely annihilated, destroyed, himsa, by the reading of Bhagavad Gita. Even little if you understand is good, but I don't, that is Bhagavad Gita version for me, not Swalpam Apyasya. Completely you have to understand Bhagavad Gita. That is to encourage you that even if you don't understand little bit also, you know it's good enough. No, it's not good enough. You should know everything. Whatever is being taught here, and you should put efforts. Just now the girls came and chanted Shraddha Suktam, which says, with Shraddha anything is possible. And Bhagavad Gita also says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. So what is the prerequisite, precondition, preparation to enter this Paravidya Shibira and to study Bhagavad Gita? In one shloka of Bhagavad Gita, I would like to explain, which says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparaha samyatendriyaha jnanam labdva parashanti achirenat adigachati. What does this mean? Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Who will attain the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita? The one who has Shraddha. And what is Shraddha? A very, very deep word. Very, very deep. Shankaracharya explains, Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Sathya Buddhyavadharanam. That ability to put your intense faith in the words of the Guru or the words of the scripture without questioning, doubting, or without having a lack of faith or devotion towards that. Intense faith in the words of the Guru and the scriptures, that is Shraddha. And through that only you will know the truth. Sa katitha Shraddha sadbihi yaya vastupalabhyate, he says. That is Shraddha, by which you can attain the highest wisdom. So can you attain highest wisdom by any other things? No. You can attain some wisdom, swalpam apyasya. But you want to attain the entire wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, put your shraddha into it. Your every cell should be involved in learning, understanding, assimilating, and practicing the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. That is the first step. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. And what kind of, when just shraddha, is it enough? No. Tatparaha. You should be ready to receive that knowledge. Mind should be empty. If mind is already clouded with science, physics, mathematics, all kinds of desires, where is the space for Bhagavad Gita to enter you? Empty your head. So these 20-25 days, whatever is there, please don't think of other things. Please completely focus on this. Tatpara, you should be completely ready, eager. Actually, tatpara means very eager to learn. Tatpara samyatendriya. And how do you know whether you are eager to learn and you have shraddha? Samyatendriya. You have complete control on your mind and senses. All your mind and senses are completely focused on learning Bhagavad Gita and not distracted by anything else. So please cut down your phone time, internet time, gossip time, all other social media checking time, and anything else. Even reading newspaper is not necessary. If some tragic thing happens, we will come to know any which ways. If something good happens also, we will realize sooner or later. Please, these few days, samyata indriyaha, control your mind and senses, keep them steady so that you are ready to learn Bhagavad Gita. Ready, steady, then go. Samyata indriyaha, steady. Tatparaha, ready. Shraddha, go. That's how you will attain this Bhagavad Gita's wisdom. And why should you attain this wisdom? What is the Palashruti? What is that I am going to gain out of it? Yes, at material level also your mind will become purer, clearer, sharper intellect. All that will happen, you will benefit materially. But more important, it says that what happens when you do this? Shanti achirena tadigacchati. Without any delay, you will attain peace. And what kind of peace? Param shanti. Not ordinary peace. When all the students are quiet and sleeping in the hostel, warden is having peace. Not that peace. When all the thieves are tired and resting, police is having peace. No. When all the politicians have met for some other event, there is no war happening, then there is peace. No. Peace is an inner quality, a very internal quality, an ability to stay steady, undisturbed, unperturbed, come what may. That is the ability of peace. That peace will come to you. The ability to stay calm and restful amidst chaos also will come to you. And life is going to be chaos. Some days will be good, some days are going to be bad. Some days will be favorable, some days will be unpleasant. Some successes will come, sometimes we will fail despite our best efforts. At that time also, if we are able to retain this peace and stay calm and unperturbed, then we will be able to live our life fully. And that ability Bhagavad Gita is capable of bestowing upon us. Paran Shantihi. Not Shanti and Ashanti. Para Shanti. Beyond the dualities of peace or no peace. Ultimate peace. Prashanti. That is what you will attain if you read Bhagavad Gita. And when will you attain that? As soon as you have understood it. Shraddhavan lavate jnanam tatpara samyatendriya jnanam ladva. The moment you attain that wisdom, immediately you will attain that peace. No disturbance, no perturbance, no desires, nothing. Absolute steadiness. And that is equanimity, tamatva, that is yoga. That is what is possible when you read Bhagavad Gita. And once you are in that state of peace and equanimity, you are detached, you are unperturbed, every decision you take will go right. You will never go wrong in your life. And you will never regret at the end, kim sadhuna karvam, kim papam aham karmam viti. Why did I not do the right things when the time was there? Why did I end up doing wrong things and I regret now? Such a state will never come to you if you have understood the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Because you will never make a wrong choice, a wrong decision in life. And that is possible by Shraddha, by Tatparata, and Samyatendriya. These three things you should be ready with for these at least few days that follow. So don't eat ati sarvatra varjayet. Don't eat too much, don't sleep too much. Everything should be in sanyama, in control. That is samyatendriya. I have told them to keep good food, but that doesn't mean that you eat so much that your tamas goes up and then you are unable to stay steady and come ready here. That should not happen. So right now our all focus is to learn Bhagavad Gita. Everything else is secondary. what's happening in which part of the world, at home, in business, at home, whose house. None of these should concern us. Let's focus completely on this. And every minute that you spend here is a sacred minute. It may not come back to all of us again and again. Even this Paravidya Shivara is coming after 3 years. That time when COVID pandemic had struck, we had a Paravidya Shivara. That was the beginning of great revolutionary changes that Narasimhamurthy ji told just now, about changing the way we are learning and teaching over here, changing the way we are preparing our next generation, changing the vision and the mission of the institutions. That all happened during that time, that pause of COVID, and that benefits so much. And today I was seeing this Prema Sai. He's not the real Prem Sai, don't get confused. Our student, he came, and I remember when the first Paravidya workshop was going on, we announced that we are going to have a special course in Vedic studies. And that course will be my course, I mentioned. Anybody can join. And that course will teach us Vedas, Upanishads, Shastras, and all kinds of Prakarana Granthas. You will get to learn all these things. And I mentioned so many students joined that course. So many of them who had already finished a year or so in sciences or humanities, they also jumped the ship and joined the Vedic studies. And this boy, this fellow was topper in his class in 12th, in entire Chikbalapura. In Chikbalapura, he was the topper. But he chose to join Vedic studies because he felt this is what I would like to do. And today, when we decided to have this Shibira, last Shibira I had to take a lot of effort because nothing was done before, everything was new, every little detail, every step had to be thought about carefully. But this time, I just had to send one message, this is what I want, please get it organized. Vedic studies students should take the initiative. This is now their time for action. All that they've learned, now it's time for them to take charge of all the study groups, devotees, students, staff of various campuses. All of them should be made into smaller groups. There should be study circles in the afternoon. Morning should be the discourses, which are already recorded. Thanks to the Sanathana Vani team again, our publications team, which recorded all the Bhagavad Gita discourses which were given over a period of 1 year, from one Gita Jayanti to other, and all that is available, so I don't have to repeat again. I don't have to speak the same thing again. You can watch those discourses in the morning. In the afternoon, you can have a study circle and understand some of it. In the evening, my job is to answer your questions. Like Arjuna asks questions and Krishna answers. The whole Bhagavad Gita is a FAQ in a way, which we all ask the questions, but Arjuna was lucky to get the answers back then. And those answers are valid till today. But in case you have any other doubt, you don't understand, there are some concepts of Sanatana Dharma, especially that of Vedanta, which will come in the Bhagavad Gita. Many of you may not be familiar with. You'll have to kind of educate yourself or take the help of the Vedic study students who have been allocated to each study group to ask what is this concept. There is Jiva, there is Atman, there is Manas, there is Chitta, there is Brahman, Purusha. So many other concepts will come which you will not know immediately, but they will be able to explain to you. And so please learn anything that you don't understand, just don't assume that it is okay. It is not okay. Try to understand and then move forward. So if you need to put additional efforts for that, please do so. No problem with that. And throughout this Shibira, we will also be having some interesting conversations, quizzes, presentations, talks, and at the end, a small examination on the most important concept. So I know that you know. In fact, Krishna himself, after telling the whole Bhagavad Gita, asked Arjuna, have you understood what I have said? Or you slept through it? Then he says, yes. Then he says, okay, now think through properly and decide whatever you want to do. I leave it to you. I'm only an enabler, facilitator. I'm a teacher, but I'm not decision maker for you. I will not fight your battle. I will not decide for you. I have taught you everything that is needed to make the right decision. You have understood whatever I have taught. Now it's your job to make the decision and go ahead. That is Bhagavad Gita. It teaches us how to make right decisions every step of our life, small or big. And when we keep making right decisions, we are never going to face any regrets in life. And we are what decisions we have made till date. We are a sum total of all our decisions that we have made, and our future is nothing but a collective of all the decisions that we are going to make from today. So decision making is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us, and right decisions is what helps us to lead right kind of life. And I cannot describe the fortune of us as human beings, of us as desirers of that highest truth, of us having been blessed by a teacher of that truth to be here in this holy sacred land, Siddha Sankalpa Bhumi. I keep telling that again and again. Any pure thoughts, any desireless, selfless desire gets fulfilled over here. So pray that mokshatvam, that desire to know the truth, should burn like fire within, should not let you take rest. In Tripura Rahasya, it is mentioned, it should be like a man whose hair is on fire. That is how you should feel, that tapan, the tapas, that for liberation. That is mumukshutva. Till you dunk yourself, your head in water, you are not at peace. That kind of desire to know the truth should be there in us. So with this blessing, and the evening time I will come and spend discussing the questions and answers. Please, all study groups should collect the questions and answers, and they should place it here, so that, and consolidate it. Many people will have the same questions, I'm sure. So the coordinators of each group should ensure that all these are consolidated into a few questions, so that within an hour, hour and a half, we are able to discuss those. And if you have any more doubts, you can always call or ask the next day. This Bhagavad Gita is an experiment at this point in time, but if this format is set and we know what to do with it, I am sure when tomorrow I will send these Vedic studies students, and many of you who would have learned Bhagavad Gita here, to many parts of the world, to teach other people also Bhagavad Gita. And as Narasimurtiji said, from the today's point of view, from today's context, not from the point of view of what was happening 1,000 years ago, but in today's context, very relevant to the modern times, so that people are able to actually apply Bhagavad Gita teachings in their daily life. For that sake, I am going to send many of you to many countries abroad, and I hope that this vision, that every person should have known Bhagavad Gita before one dies, because this alone can redeem us, nothing else. Bhagavad Gita, Kinchita Dhita, Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita, Sahridapi Ene Mudari Samarcha, Kriyate Tasya Yamena Na Charcha. Again Shankaracharya says, this Bhagavad Gita, little of Bhagavad Gita, one who knows, or drinks Ganga water. It means has the purity to go to Ganga and drink the water. Such a person, or the one who thinks of Murari, Sri Krishna, Bhagavan, in his lifetime, will never have to argue or plead with Yama, because at the end, I'm not done with all my desires. I have still things to do. I am afraid of dying. So many things happen. At that moment of truth, there is no fear, because all fears, trayate mahato bhayat, all fears are removed from our lives. And that is what Bhagavad Gita can offer us, and that is needed for all the people in the world. And if we can teach this truth, I don't think there could be any greater service that we can do to entire humanity for all times to come. And this will set the whole humanity on a different path, a path of self-realization, self-sacrifice, self-satisfaction. This is what we can achieve by learning and teaching Bhagavad Gita. May Lord Krishna bless you, that you be that deserving Arjunas who receive this Bhagavad Gita here in this, not Kurukshetra, but Dharma Kshetra. You receive this Bhagavad Gita and become one with that knowledge, so that wherever you go, you are able to spread this knowledge to others and redeem them also along with you. Final shloka of Bhagavad Gita says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti, Duva Niti Matir Mama. Wherever both are there, Shri Krishna should also be there and Arjuna should also be there. What kind of Shri Krishna? Yogeshwara. Still established in that ultimate knowledge and ready to guide others. That is yogi, yoga jivi. That's what our Narasimurtiji was telling. And where Partho Dhanurdharaha, not ordinary Arjuna, Dhanurdhara, ready to do his duty, discharge his duty. But this combination is very potential combination, the combination of a divine master and willing disciple. It's an amazing combination. Wherever this combination happens, amazing things happen there. Shri, Vijaya, Bhuti, everything happens over there. It is Dhruva Niti. It is the ultimate law. Dhruva Niti, eternal law. It never changes with time, place and situations. Wherever such a master and such a disciple come together, wonders happen, and this is a law that will never change, says Vyasa Maharshi at the end by concluding Bhagavad Gita. So we are looking for more such masters and disciples who come together and redeem this world. And Bhagavad Gita, its study, its practice, and further preaching and spreading of this knowledge to the world is the only way to redeem this world. I cannot think of anything else. Nanya Panta Ayanaya Vidyate. This is the one and the only route, spiritual route to redeem the world. So I bless and I convey my blessings to all those who have worked very hard for this Shibira and will be working throughout this Shibira to ensure that everybody is getting what they need. Yes, physical comforts are important, but that should not be the focus. More importantly, focus on how much you are learning every day. Also today, one small initiative has been taken up, which is to introduce many other scriptural prayers into our daily prayers, which is to ensure that children are able to chant some verses from many of these important scriptures like Ishopanishad, Brahmagyana Valli Mala or Pratasmara Stotram, which are suffused with Vedantic wisdom. And our children will also receive the format of morning prayers. So every day we don't chant the same prayers. We will be chanting different prayers on different days, and we also be learning and teaching the meaning. Again, that is the job of our Vedic studies and the music department students. A small format has been put up like this. There is Omkaram, Pratasmarana Stotram, Sathya Sai Suprabhatam, Gayatri Mantram, and Satoma or Samasta Loka, Dhyaya Vakya Stotrams. So on certain days only there are Suprabhatam, because that time also is being utilized to do various other things on other days. Like Sundays you have Nagar Sankirtana, Monday you have Brahmagyana Vali Mala, Tuesday you have Bhakti Yoga chanting, Wednesday Guru Ashtakam, Thursday Hridaya the Hambala, Friday Isha Upanishad, Saturday Manasa Satasam. So they have made a format, they have taken my permission and approval. Similarly, assembly prayers also have a pattern, Omkara and Sarvadharma prayer. Panchanga Shravanam, this is a new introduction. We all know dates as per the English calendar. We do not know as per our Hindu calendar. So the Panchanga Shravanam is also very important. Daily you listen to what date, what Masa, what Tithi, Nakshatra, and all that it is Samvatsara, which will help you understand how Indian calendar works. It's important. So all these things have been introduced. A small public speech in the morning for the children to develop confidence to get up and speak and articulate themselves well. A word a day. I want everybody to learn new words, their vocabulary, their diction should increase, become richer. So that will be explained, of course, national anthem. These are morning prayer patterns. Evening prayer also has a pattern, Rudram chanting, Omkara, Samasta Loka, bhajans. Every day there is one stotram and then Atma Shatakam or Atma Shatakam, whichever way. Arati and Jaikara, meditation and Shanti Mantra. On every Wednesday after Atma Shatakam, there will be a talk by staff or student on a spiritual topic. So that way we'll encourage more people to express their understanding of whatever spiritual things they are learning. It's not done. Evening prayers also, there are different stotrams, Lingashtakam, Krishnashtakam, Ganesha Pancharatnam, Guru Padaka Stotram, Bhavani Ashtakam, Madhusudan Ashtakam, Sri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajmana. So various other things are also there, just to help you learn more Sanskrit words, more vocabulary, more ideas of how things have been explained by various poets and rishis. So just to make things little more interesting and have a little more variety. And as they say, variety is the spice of life. So even in spiritual variety, it's very enjoyable when you get to listen to many things from many people. So I hope you enjoy this new schedule of prayers. And if you have anything to say, don't eat my head, just contact the Vedic Studies boys. I tell them you don't want this or you want this. This is not doable or this is doable. Please talk to them. I have passed on this responsibility of running Paravidya in our institutions and in the world later to all the Vedic Studies students, and I'm sure they'll do a fantastic job. So far they've been doing so well. I'm sure they will do again. So also music department, which has worked hard to record all these prayers. And they told me, they're so smart, they said it has been recorded in 2 different Shrutis, female Shruti and male Shruti, because various girls' campuses cannot sing in the same Shruti. So that detailing, that care also has been taken. All that has been uploaded on the YouTube. And these prayers are available to all the devotees, wherever you are, in whichever country. If you want to pray along with all the students, just go there and to the channel and see what is that for that day. And you can pray as per Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. I also request Sanatana Vani team to please organize these prayers on Sanatana Vani radio channel so that people can even switch it on and listen to it during their prayer times every day. The family that prays together stays together, they say. And if we are one world and one family, we must learn to pray together so that we all stay together as a family. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu.